homes, then you have the servers loaded onto a truck, brought to your office. You again rent a house where you place the servers, then look out for the engineering team that will be required to man your servers. Take, for instance, you'll need like a security guy, a guy who is very good at networking, a guy who is very good at software to replace your security expert here today, servers that you would potentially ship to the country to say, you can always have them seated somewhere. Okay? Then the different applications that you could utilize. Take, for instance, if you want to do monitoring or you want to watch alarms of the system, which one is off, which one is on, you utilize applications like CloudWatch for AWS. So that is all that they are talking about, including storage itself. And then you, as the end user, you'll generally just use your normal gadgets, like the laptop, the computer, to be able to fetch whatever information that is residing on cloud, or whatever the service your application is extending to your clients. That is all that they are doing. Nothing so special. We've been able to just understand most of this logic. It's to say cloud will take care of the compute power, the database, the content delivery, okay, for most of our websites. And the key reason why cloud is the best choice of today is for the ease of deployment of our applications. Deploy an application that could just mirror Safe Border. I can deploy an application that could mirror Jumia Foods. I could deploy an application that mirrors WhatsApp, but a WhatsApp for Uganda in one day. Why? Because all the infrastructure is already existing on cloud. I don't need to ship anything in country. So that is all that cloud is providing us. So we'll just go into the details as to why we believe the way to go. So when we look at this, we are looking at different sets of how cloud is built. Cloud is built as in form of microservices. That is the architecture environment. It is containerized. The example of containerization that can be used is Docker. And Docker runs well with Kubernetes. For AWS, we use ECS, Elastic Compute Services. It just has all these containerization. So generally, for containerization is to say, I build software, but it is only supporting a given service. Put it on the side. Maybe the service could be transfer money from Byron to say, ensure that when the request comes from Diane, it has the name ending with double E, not single E, you know. So you build a container around just security to ensure the message transfer between Diane and myself is secure. So it is for you to build different microservices, but at the end of it all, they rotate around to give you a product, a single product. That is the logic around microservices. Then when it comes to deployment, we use technologies like DevOps. So DevOps is purely a tool that supports the developer and then where the application is going to sit, which is on cloud. To say, when you're pushing your application to cloud, you don't just use like a USB or something, but rather we use what we call CI/CD pipelines, okay? Some of these exist like GitHub. It is already providing a way for which it can be able to package your code and then push it on cloud, such that when you run it, it is ready for cloud. One thing you have to understand about cloud is it already assesses. Deploy the same code on it and call the previous one version 1. Okay? So in the event that you want to utilize the first code that you push to cloud, you then trigger version 1, or version 2 will replace version 1. So that is what the DevOps piece is all about. And then serverless computing is to set it on cloud minus having the physical servers at hand. What does serverless mean? It means you can have things like memory, processing speed, okay? So all these you can define on cloud. You don't have to, today if your application requires maybe 20 giga, okay? But then, because so many people, take for instance, we are hosting Rihanna at Nambole, okay? I build a simple application, and it's a ticketing tool. And then on the day of the show, the number of people who are coming in are over and above who want to pay. You know, Ugandans pay on the last minute, okay? People who want to pay are in thousands. And yet my application was built to accept requests of people who want to purchase tickets online to be maybe 10,000. Don't have to rush to make a call to Europe and say, please order servers. The number of people have increased. No. The beauty of cloud is to say, you can just spin up the resources, okay, to the actual processing speed you want, the storage you want. By that, it eases your time to market a product. You get the point? So that's what serverless is all about. Everything is virtual to you, but in the back end, they are actual servers. But because the mode of request is not shift and bring, it is to say, you just spin, you just choose digits. Increase this by 5, increase this by 7. You can even set an auto-scaling mode to say, every time you hit 90% of my memory, please increase my memory by 2. For it, it will do it without you being part of it. So that's the piece around serverless. I'll just go to the next slide. So, like I mentioned, the key reasons as to why we are focusing on cloud is the key reason why we are focusing on cloud is purely around these 5 pillars. The first one is operation excellence. And under operation excellence, we are looking at us being able to push code onto cloud, run our applications, minus being worried about failure, okay? Because it takes care of any failure in advance. You can set matrices to say, if my resources are overused to this extent, please spin up by double, okay? So by that, it gives you the operational excellence. Other than depending on Byron, who will run a health check onto an application, and when it is Christmas, he's on holiday, and you have to call him, hey Byron, please come back. Today people are over making calls with UTL. Please, can you come back and do some magic? People cannot call anymore because so many people are hitting our servers. So when you use a cloud, you're guaranteed of what we call operations excellence. And then the other piece is around security. Now, one thing we have to really accept is that these guys have gone ahead to simulate as many ways for which you can hit cloud as possible. Some of the knowledge which we just read in books, but cannot exhaust. So while we are reading so much of the books, these guys have built the tools to just be able to monitor your application. Right from who logged in, what time did they log in, can you give me an audit trail of the last action that Byron did when he logged on to cloud? All that information can be tracked over cloud. Yet when you asked a one Byron to run a server, and I know James is the last guy who logged in, but I know he ran a script that debited somebody's account and he credited himself. I'll be hesitant to support you, okay? Because I know who did it, but I'll play games. But with cloud, it is crystal clear. It will give you all the logs, minute by minute, second by second, and by that, it creates an advantage over the normal environment that we are using today. The other piece is around reliability. And reliability is nothing much other than cloud being able to support us to auto-scale, okay? Every time resources are overutilized, it can always expand to ensure that the normal way of working is continued, other than stopping a service because the number of people have increased and all that. You remember those days at a certain time, end of month, you could hardly maybe buy a car or pay for anything using the existing today mobile channels, okay? But because of cloud, it can easily auto-scale, okay, to support in that area. So that's the area of reliability. Then the other area is purely performance, where we are saying that It is quick for deployment, quick time to market. Then for the resources, you can easily say, you can easily tell for this resource, I think for this memory that I purchased maybe in the month of June, I only used maybe 20 giga out of 100. I can get rid of the other 80. I don't need it anymore. According to the utilization of my clients, I don't need the 80. You dispose of the 80. It gives you that leverage, to utilize only the resources that you need. Other than today where I'll sit here and when the CIO or CTO asks me, how much of servers do you need, Byron? I'll say, boss, I think we need 100 servers. Just in case Christmas comes up or First or New Year's comes up, and then these guys overuse the servers. We don't want to get those shocks, But with cloud, it auto-scales. So those are the advantages that you get. You do not overshoot your budget, and you do not undershoot. But you purely utilize what you have requested for, and it will auto-scale to meet your resources requirements. Then the last piece is purely cost optimization, where we believe that cloud is always able to tell you that, hey, bro, yesterday you used two USDs, okay? Last month you used 30. In the next month, you might use 40, okay? Reason being, this resource is increasing, this one has reduced. So it gives you that leverage to plan and budget, which the normal environment today will never give you. Okay? I hope I've tried to simplify what cloud is all about to us. Okay, the other piece is purely APIs. And like I mentioned earlier, there is nothing called automation without APIs. And if I could drive the API analogy back home, is an example of us sitting here, and then we order our best dishes or drinks. A waiter comes with a list of whatever that they have. We tell him, for me, give me a Coke. Another person asks for Pepsi, okay? Then he'll go to and if it is food, you'll ask for maybe pizza. Another one will ask for chips chicken, okay? So you make the request through the waiter, okay? The waiter goes to the kitchen. He'll present your list of what you've ordered to the chef. The chef will prepare and give the waiter, and the waiter brings to you. So you realize, you who is seated here, you know what you want, but you cannot prepare it yourself. Somebody else has to prepare it for you. But at the same time, between the person preparing and you who wishes to take the meal, somebody is delivering. So that analogy of the waiter is what an API is today in our lives in technology. So you realize that for every service that we build or an application, okay, you will use apps like WhatsApp, Twitter, and everything. But wherever that information is seated, that is where the server is. So for you to be able to fetch information that you need from the location to where you are, you use an API. I could just give an example today of our candidates who have just sat their P7, others S4 and S6. By Feb, they all have what they call index numbers. And they will be eager to type a certain code, punch in their index number, and then receive results from UNEB. So that mode of a candidate using their phone to be able to get results from UNEB, the facility between their application, which is a mobile, to where UNEB is to send just your results, is what an API does in our lives. It does what automation is all about. So initially, we would go to UNEB, hang around there, wait for them to pin results, then you look for your name, or you go to your former school, you go to the notes board, see what you got. Now that has been simplified by that gentleman called API. I hope the analogy is clear to us. So in a nutshell, APIs serve as the glue that binds various components of digital transformation software together. So you have one end that is serving, and then the client who is receiving. And that's all. So as FlyHub, we are also using APIs to facilitate modernization of most of the applications that we build. And how are we doing it? We've come up with a number of APIs that we think could facilitate this. And before we just go into that, we have what interoperability is. So interoperability is majorly for systems to be able to speak the same language. I request in a language you understand, then you give me what I've requested for in the language I understand. So in that interoperability is facilitated by the different APIs. Different APIs, you can have REST APIs, you can have GraphQL, and so forth, okay? Then you can easily expand your ecosystem, okay? So in other words, you build your application, but if it is a payment system, you want somebody to pay for umeme, you want another person to pay for national water, and so many and so forth. So by that, you're able to support the entire ecosystem through payments by an application. But that application talks to each of these other individual companies independently. And the beauty of APIs, it introduces a contractual understanding between the two. The other piece is around rapid innovation. You don't have to support in all the services, okay? As long as you have an API at hand, you can be able to support a payment. Today for national water, it can be reused for umeme, it can be reused for DSTV. Where there is DSTV, you replace with umeme and replace your decoder number with the Yakamita number. That is all. You get it? So it is easy for you to reuse, okay? So the other pieces I think we can still talk about is what has our journey been as FlyHub. So you realize the bank has quite a number of APIs that they have today. And for us, what we've been able to do is to be able to pick out a set that we feel will be able to be utilized by the applications my colleague has just talked about. So one of them could be funds transfer, where you want to debit one account, credit another. Then the other could be you want to know the details of your customer. Of course, after consent with your client, we can be able to facilitate that once you host your applications with us. The other is wallet to account, especially with FlexiPay. You have a service that you want to debit your wallet and then credit your account. All that can be done through us. So in other words, when you open a merchant code with us, we can always ensure that whereas people are paying using FlexiPay, that money at the end of the day is deposited onto your account with no charge. So those are some of the APIs that we are currently using. And when you build your own applications, we are happy to support you to host them. Or even if you have an idea, but you believe it is something that can be pushed out there in the market, we can co-create with you and then have it hosted on our platform, utilize the existing APIs that we have at hand to facilitate the journey of your growth as a company. So that's where we are. And then the other piece I would also want to talk about is the different charging models, just in case you happen to host your application with us on cloud. So if you intend to host your application with us, we can always negotiate around websites if you have one, fintech applications if you have one. Even if you've built a data application, we can still negotiate and see how best we can walk the journey with you. The other piece around APIs, if you only want to reuse the APIs that we expose to the public, we have 3 modes of payment. We have pay-per-use, where, take for instance, you just requesting whether the account number belongs to that said party. Maybe he has obtained a loan. You have a small microfinance somewhere, and you want to be sure that that account number belongs to that individual, okay? We can always, you can always work with us to make a check and confirm whether that information tallies. Same analogy with NIRA. Wherever you're registering for an account, you ask for your NIN. Okay, so we also run a request with NIRA to confirm whether the ndagamuntu belongs to you as a person. So that can also be done. Then we also have tiered pricing, where we offer based on volumes, okay? And then we can always have discounts on that. So in that we mean if your application is one that does quite a number of requests, we cannot go for the pay-per-use, but rather we tier to say if in a month you consume maybe 400 transactions per second, per day, average, maybe your rate will be this. So we can also do that. But at the same time, we can also just discuss on what the monthly pricing model can look like. Okay? Thank you. I think you've got a good understanding of what cloud is and APIs. I'm always happy if people ask questions. Please.
Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. My name is John Kenny Adea. I'm a writer and I'm the founder of Kampala Edge Times magazine. So basically, yeah, we write about positivity and we feature, you know, people who are making impressive achievements in Africa and Uganda. So for the last 2 years, I've been running a website and I've really learned a lot. I've failed, I've stood up, I've failed, I've stood up. And I realized one of the biggest issues is resource usage. You know, as a young person in the industry, I may not be able to afford those expensive hosting brands. But then I discovered something called Cloudflare. And everything you have spoken about FlyHub is what Cloudflare offers. And they really helped me because now I can achieve high speed of my website without paying a lot of money because they have cache reserve, they have those APIs. Actually, you can log into Kampala Edge Times using Google and Facebook. So that was really wonderful. But this sounds very juicy since it's in Uganda, and I believe you guys are considering us. So what is the difference, maybe in pricing, and you know, what is the difference? What makes it so unique for a Ugandan to take on?
So I think for us as FlyHub, we can save you the journey and the pain you went through at the point of initiation. And the reason for that is you didn't know what you were doing. So we have the experience, we have the expertise, we have potentially gone through what you've gone through. But on the other hand, we are lucky to say that we were born by a bigger group, Standard Bank Group. So the pockets were not as affected as you are affected. So we are happy to support you, even if it is consultation, to support you walk that journey in the best way possible. I hope that answers you.
All right, and since I'm here, that means that FlyHub's time is done, but they do have a booth right by the entrance. They've placed themselves very strategically that you can't miss them, and they'll answer all your questions thereafter. A round of applause, please. So I've been practicing the next speaker's name for the last 30 minutes, and I'm still failing at it, but I know that they have really cool things to offer us. So Mudu Bees. Tuffy, and she'll just tell you her other name so you see my struggle. Please take the stage.
Thank you so much. The name is Tafadzwa. It's a Shona Bantu name, and I think our accents are the same. I'm from Zimbabwe, so you can call me Taffy. Taffy is pretty good. Hello, everyone. Hi. Are we here? Okay, so my name is Taffy. I am the acting country director for Mudubiz. It's actually under a company called MuduPay. And I'll tell you a bit about ourselves in a moment. But before I do that, I just heard that there are SMEs in the room. I'd like to get to know you a bit more. maybe two or three of you can tell us a bit about your businesses, highlighting specifically challenges that you might face with inventory management, bookkeeping, payments, accounting stuff.
Hi, how are you? My name is Ram. I run an agency, and of course, receiving payment in Africa is an issue. The big companies don't serve this market primarily. Actually, they go ahead and even write a sign that your geographical location is not under the area serviced. So it's impressive to see companies like MuduPay coming up. You're poking exactly in the hole that we feel for far too long has been failing businesses in Africa. So my business, specifically I would say, because it's digital, you're servicing anywhere. I could be a client from Zimbabwe, as long as they want my service, and I want them to send me my money. So there is where the challenge has always been for many African companies, and they have to punch beyond their belt to acquire such services from the expertise. And that's what I wanted to showcase, that because there is a series of freelancers and digital creators who are in the same quagmire, they can provide value. How do they bring back their money to be translated in what they can use to pay at a local level? Yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you. Your name? Ram. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for
Come on,
that.
guys. This is your chance to brag about your companies.
Tell us about your businesses.
Thank you. My name is Lovin. I represent the women in fisheries. We do have a 2 million membership women organization. They are traders in fish, cross-border traders, processors, exporters. Our big challenge is we are scattered all over the fishing zones, and we would wish to recruit more members online. We would wish to receive membership fees online, payments for the services. Like we give loans to the members of the organization. So we would love to have loan requests online, loan approval online, loan payments back to the account online. That is my challenge. Thank you.
Okay. Your name again?
Lovin.
Lovi.
Yes.
Okay.
One more SME wants to brag about their company? Come on.
Anybody who does inventory purchases and stuff like that? Don't be shy. Tell us what you do.
Hello, my name is John. I'm a co-founder of Get Cassava. Get Cassava is a platform that connects farmers who are producing cassava across Uganda. And our biggest challenge is the transition from B2C to B2B. We are still moving slowly, and we are target to go to B2B, but still limited.
Sorry, John, maybe if I can ask a follow-on question. What is your main challenge from moving from B2C to B2B?
We had quite of challenges. One of the challenges is expanding there's a limited capital to expand to scale up the services. So our services are in a limited districts. So other districts are not yet fully covered.
Okay, thank you very much, John. It was a pleasure to meet you guys. Thank you so much for sharing your businesses. MuduPay started as an idea in 2020. And what we wanted to do was to solve the payments issues for Africans. So do you know that if you want to send money to Zimbabwe from Uganda, the money has to go maybe through the US or through Europe? Just like we have issues around like flying from Kampala to Harare, you have to go by this way and that way and this way, that way. And yet, if you want to go from Kampala to Washington, D.C., easy. So it's the same thing that happens with payments. So we realized we have a challenge of payments intra-Africa, but even within our African countries, you have Momo, somebody has a bank transfer, somebody wants this, somebody that wants that. And we wanted to find a way of integrating all payments on one platform. So under MuduPay, we started developing a wallet. The wallet is not yet in Uganda. We are still working on that. But as we built the wallet, we introduced it to a home market in Guinea. And in Guinea, when people started using it, especially businesses, they asked us to add features and more features and more features until we ended up with Mudubiz, which is now a bookkeeping and payment solution web platform for businesses. It is pretty good for SMEs, a very good way to start for startups. And for large businesses, it's a good way to integrate a certain aspect of payments into the business. So what does Mudubiz do? We offer a platform. I think some of the challenges have been mentioned. I think especially Rovi here talked about having a wide network of fish sellers, right? And integrating and following up on the payments that they make. You find that a lot of solutions around payments within businesses are designed for maybe Europe or the US and integrate better with Europe and the US. And what we're trying to do is provide one that speaks to Ugandans, that speaks to Guineans, that speaks to Ivorians, and allows the Ugandans and the Ivorians to talk. So when Ram was speaking, I was just smiling because he was saying exactly what we are trying to do. So with Mudubiz, we offer a platform that allows you to make bulk payments as a start. So for small businesses, if you're putting out loans, I'm speaking to Rovi, but it could be anybody else in the room. If you're putting out loans, or you're a pharmacy that has a whole stream of bikers that do deliveries for you, or you are a farm that pays people different types of payments at different times, you don't have to go into your Momo and dial *16 put the person's number. You can just put their name, their phone number, create a whole list of people, and then pay them all at once. Whether you're paying them from your Momo or you're paying them from your bank account, you can do all of that on the Mudubiz platform. You can also go and buy your inventory if you're somebody who's doing trading. So if you're selling, an easy one is if you're selling drinks, you go and buy your drinks, you record your purchases. As soon as you record your purchases and the delivery is made, it automatically updates your inventory. And whenever you make a sale, it automatically updates your inventory. So all your bookkeeping, day-to-day transactions, you do a little bit of this, you do a little bit of that, it will all be recorded centrally on the Mudubiz platform. But at the same time, it will allow you to actually process payments from the same platform. If you're a larger company that's using maybe another accounting system like Xero or QuickBooks, Mudubiz can integrate with Xero and QuickBooks and allow you to have financial statements according to the International Financial Reporting Standards. But if you're an SME, you're running your own business, you're not required to produce financial statements, you can see a summary of your transactions. You can, at the end of the day, see how much you've sold, how much you've purchased, what's in your inventory, how much cash you have, who you have to pay, all of those simple little things. So we're going to show you a little bit of what Mudubiz does if the internet does not disappoint. Rock, can you put the other... Hold on, let me just make sure that he's online. But while we're doing that, are there any questions about what I've said? Or what Mudubiz does? We are here, we're talking. Okay, I'll give the guy in the black jacket a chance.
Thank you for the presentation. I'm Ignatius. I'm in the snacks business. I was asking about
Sorry, we cannot hear you. Maybe bring the mic closer.
I'm Ignatius in the snacks business. I was asking about invoicing. Locally here we have the e-freeze, which is a system that URA is beginning to, especially for the SMEs and the very big taxpayers. They want, like, if you have sales that you're making, they're integrated in the invoicing. So whichever information that you have, URA has that copy. So is it integrated in MuduPay?
I'm glad you asked, because it means I missed the detail. So I think one of the challenges that we have as small businesses particularly is in pricing for our products. We can have an estimate and say, okay, this is how much we want to charge for this product. But at the end of the day, URA comes and they say they want us to pay taxes. And in most instances, we will not have taken those taxes into consideration. So Mudubiz allows you to set your price for your products based on how you want to get your markup or your margin or how you're determining your gross profit. But at the point when you're invoicing, you get an opportunity to add tax, the relevant tax that's applicable for the sale of that product. So now you know whenever you're selling how much you should quote for the product because you have included the tax. We are in the process of integrating with URA. So by the time we start up next week, it should be live. You should be able to do your taxes and pay your taxes through Mudubiz. Yeah. There's another question here.
Thank you. My name is Angel. Does Mudu work with retail shops?
Yes, it's especially made for retail shops. Because with retail shops, you're trading, right? So you buy your inventory, you stock it up in your shop, and then you sell. And when people are coming to buy from you, they can use cash, they can use Momo, and I don't know about cards and swiping, right? So you definitely can use Mudubiz. We can explore and show you how it works. Another aspect I had forgotten to mention, okay, hold on a sec. Rock, just check if he's not on mute, the Zoom. Is the Zoom not on mute? Okay, great. I think there's no need for video. Just a sec. Okay, one thing that we also have made Mudubiz work particularly to you. Hi, Theno. How are you, Suleiman?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Suleiman? Okay, while we're doing that, I just wanted to highlight, especially for Rovi and John, Mudubiz can also work for groups where you have different people functioning in different areas, right? Each person within each group have their own system, and you can see from a group point of view. So you can see, say for example, you have 10 cassava farmers, right? 10 cassava farmers, okay? If these 10 cassava farmers are recording their transactions and you're functioning from the group level, you can see what every single one of them is registering and doing. If you have a group of pharmacies, for example, you can see what's happening in each of your pharmacies. But the pharmacies itself will not be able to see what's happening on the other end. Okay, like I said, technology. Technology might be our challenge, but if it is not, let's move on. Let me ask him to share his screen. So I've asked Theano to show us how the Mudubi's platform works when you're doing maybe large payments at the same time. So if you have large groups of people that you pay, you can also use it for paying salaries. You can also use it for managing your inventory. Theano, if you can hear me, please share your screen. Okay, we are making progress. Are there any other questions while we're waiting for Suleiman? Anyone who's curious about something? Okay, I see 2 hands. Can I have some microphones? There's one hand over there. I saw another hand.
Hello, can you hear me?
Thank you. I'm asking for my friend, my neighbor, because she did not complete her question. She was saying she has a retail shop and she has workers, so sometimes she does not know what they have sold. While she was away, they declare a certain amount of money, but it takes long for you to know you've made a loss, like a year or something. Yeah. So is there a system that can help her to track her stock?
Yeah. So this is exactly the system for you. Okay? So what it does is you're going to have to ask them when they sell anything.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I'll let him go and then I'll go. Go ahead, Suleiman.
All right, I cannot hear you. So if you can hear me, it's fine. Let me start. So this is the ModuPay platform, ModuBiz. You know, we have we allow businesses to manage their sales, HR, purchases, and inventory, payment, invoicing, etc. So I'm just gonna present few things here. We can do the purchase and then do to the bulk payment quickly due to lack of time. So I'm gonna start with the purchases. This model is to allow businesses to manage their sales, their purchase orders, etc. So very quickly, sorry. You know, we have 3 tabs, you know, payment, purchase orders, products, and vendors. So here is the list of all purchases. Here we have, you know, some filters to allow, you know, filtering, you know, by reference and then filtering by vendor and start and end date. So I'm gonna start by adding a vendor. So here's like an interface. We have all our vendors, you know, all the business vendors. So I create one vendor. Um, 56, I can do 708, 0987. So it's like Kampala. I can save. So I can, you know, see the numbers. You can add like a customer as well. And I can go back to the vendors. So I have them, others have email, others do not have emails. So after adding a vendor, I go to the product. So here I can see all my products. I can add some as well. The product name. And the cost, unit price, cost price, then the selling price. Even when we have these two options, it's like a product that can be purchased and sold. I would like to add it to the POS eventually, and can be storable for the inventory purposes. I already have the product. I can edit it. This is the information if I want it, 25,023. So everything is fine. So I can go back to the main page. So after having a vendor and a product, I can create, whenever I need to buy, the product, I have to come here and create a purchase order and go through all the process. So I can create purchase order. I select the vendor, and I select the product. Eventually, I add like the VAT tax. I can add a description, and I can add a payment terms eventually for the purchase order. Then I hit save. So just redirect me to the purchase order so that I can look at data if it is correct. And then I can confirm, otherwise I can edit. So here the information is correct. So I'm gonna confirm it. So it's the confirmation. So after the product the purchase order is successfully confirmed, now I can create an invoice out of it. Here I just add the invoice. So this invoice is for accounting purposes, it's gonna go to the invoices confirmed, and yeah. So after that, after the purchase order has an invoice, we have the reception active where I go like the day LD Holding gonna deliver by order. On the inventory side, I just have to go and I can accept all the quantities, or if there are, like, for example, if I added 10 and I receive 5, I can do that eventually. So I also basically, but for all our thing, we need to confirm. So everything we create on a draft mode, then it has to be confirmed. So on the inventory, when I create the reception or a delivery, we have to go to the delivery itself and then confirm it for it to impact the inventory. Right, so when I come to the inventory, I see that the Samsung 25, have like one available stock because it's the one we received from our vendor. So here there is no way that people can come and change those values, on the inventory side manually. Everything should go through like a purchase or a sales, and then the update on the product on the inventories is like automatically adjusted. After that, let's go to the disbursement and see. So this is we have some other modules, but let's go to disbursement. Here is like a module to allow adding recipients and then send them money. We can add recipient through a file, or we can add it manually one by one if it's like one. And This is the two ways we can add recipients. And then we can initiate payment by selecting recipients. All right.
All right, Suleiman, thank you very much. I think he just showed you the function of purchasing your inventory. From the moment you purchase, you provide for it, you pay for it, it hits your inventory, the delivery is made, and then you can sell it and receive your money. So the whole process can happen in the system. For the sake of time, we wanted to show a bit more, but this is disbursements. If you want to pay a lot of people at the same time and you're usually paying those people, you can just import a file if you already have a file of people who you want to pay, or you can create one. Or if you're paying one person at a time, you can also pay them one person at a time. So Mudubiz has multiple options. You can use it for your HR and payroll, the disbursements that we're talking about, which is lump sum payments or large bulk payments. You can use it for your purchases, for your sales, for your inventory, your expenses, and for invoicing. At the end of the day, you'll actually get to know how much money you have in your business, whether it's in Momo, it's in the bank, or in cash. And in your case where people are stealing, you can register all the inventory that comes in. I think that task, you have to give it to someone who you trust, because if they miss entering the right information at inventory time, then you have an issue in managing the stock. But when they register the inventory and you tell them whatever they sell has to be recorded in the sales, you can do a physical stock count and compare that with what's in the system. If there's a difference, then you know somebody took something. Yeah? Okay. All right. Are there any other questions before we close? Yeah, there are two questions. I think one is right in the back, over here. I think we have time for, I like women, so we'll make that 3 questions. 1, 2, and the lady, yeah. Make that 3 so we can close.
Yes, hello. My name is Rodney, and my question is kind of similar to what she said. And I don't know maybe if I missed it, but since you are able to make multiple payments to different people without putting in the prompt codes of *165 and all that, I was wondering whether it's possible for the system to prompt for a payment from a client. That way, to be easy to know that maybe the client promised to pay at a certain time, and then the prompt either automatically or manually that the money is received. Maybe if they say mobile money, it comes through mobile money. If it's a bank, the prompt comes through automatically. So just like currently PayPal, it's what I've experienced. When a client wants to pay, you make an invoice and it will ask them, do you want to make it through credit, debit card, all the different methods. So does your platform do the same?
Okay, so the prompting is not happening yet, but I think it would be a value add. It would definitely be a value add. What is happening is the prompting happens on your side, so you get to see your invoices that are outstanding, people that should pay you or people that you should pay. You can see that, but not from the client's point of view. We'll explore if we can add that function, but it sounds super interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Ronnie.
Yeah, my name is Isaac. I just wanted to ask, I'm using a platform like that, okay? It's a US-based platform. Now, maybe you could add this. So it has a mobile app and a web-based. Now, what they've done is that on top of what you've just presented, they've integrated a marketing bit to it, in that I can as well send out SMSs, bulk SMSs to my clients if there are any improvements or if there's any new product or development that I need to add to the product. I can send email as well, and on top of that, I can as well book meetings with people who want to speak to me on top of that. So I'm just thinking, is that something that you would, just to add on that, what they've also done is they've integrated the social media platforms to this, in that if I have a potential prospect who is interested in using that service, rather than me opening X or Instagram or LinkedIn, I see those notifications on the same app. Is that something you're willing to do in the future just to improve on the product? Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac. We would definitely be willing to explore that, mainly because we want to make sure that the services we are giving on the continent are comparable to the services other people off the continent are giving, but even better than they are. So we want to address whatever needs you have. Like I mentioned at the beginning, this product was not a product we started off imagining. This product is a consequence of what's happening here, where people tell us, okay, I think I would benefit from X, Y, Z on this. Can you add this aspect? And can you add that aspect? So we are here to hear all of this and to improve the tool to make sure that it speaks to what you need. Thank you for the suggestion. I've taken notes of it. Yep.
Yes, thank you so much. I'd like to inquire, I don't know if you'd mentioned it earlier, but I'd like to inquire, is there a separate system for the employer and the employee to input? Because I'm just wondering if the employer probably, or someone, inputs the inventory and, okay, by chance the employee can, is there a way they can, take the result? I don't know, something of that sort. Is there a separate system, or is it locked out that once this is put in, another person can't access it, something like that?
Okay. So what happens is when you log in anything in Moodlebiz, you will have to confirm it. So there's a first confirmation and then there's a verification. So if you're the owner of the business, you can verify the list of things that you have bought and the list of things that have been entered. Even when you're making payments, sometimes your staff do not even make the payments. They make the entries for you, and then you verify and approve so the payment can actually be made. So we have created an authentication process. There's somebody who can do the entries, so you don't have to do the manual entry of everything. But whatever is being processed out of Moodlebiz, the owner of the business has the option to verify and authenticate to allow the transaction to go through. So there's a bit of double checking that happens that allows you to see what your employee has done before it is uploaded on the system. Yep. I hope that addresses it. All right. Okay.
Well done. I'm going to cut you off. And Mudupe is actually in the lounge over there.
Yes.
So you can find them with all your questions. But thank you so much. So you have 5 seconds if you wanted to say anything to wrap up. And next on stage is Numida. Is Numida in the house? A round of applause, please, for Mudu. Brian, are you here? Oh, great. You have exactly 10 minutes, and I will be a pain to you after that.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, so my name is Brian from Numida. So Numida Technologies is a business that is trying to help startups. So I'm also very excited when I see people like Taffy reaching out to businesses in Uganda. So it makes me happy because the interesting fact is in Uganda, I think we have around 1.1 million small businesses. 1.1 million, you can imagine. And that 1.1 million small businesses contribute around 80% of the national GDP. So you can see the impact the small businesses have in this country, actually. So if these small businesses are contributing around 80% of the GDP, that means these are people we are supposed to be focusing on. These are people we are supposed to be helping, and these are people we are supposed to be supporting, and that's why, Numida is here. So what is Numida? So let's start by, just looking at the common business challenges. I think one of the things that even Taffy talked about was, was just like general business management. How do you record your, your transactions, expense, and everything? We have challenges of marketing, challenges of sales, challenges of customer retention, general management of your business. You have an employee, they're giving you a headache every time, every now and then. Many small businesses don't even know how to manage their finances, That's why many of them are actually failing. But when we actually did market research, the most prominent problem that businesses experience, the most pressing need is access to capital. So if anyone here owns a small business, you know how hard it is to actually get money. Unlike, like in Europe or in America, Canada, in the West generally, where you can actually, raise money a little bit easily, here in Uganda you struggle. You out of university, you have a good idea, you open up a shop somewhere, you want to start your business, you struggle to raise that money. If you're lucky, you save a little bit, start up your business. After starting up your business, a few years down the road, you have debts in your neck, the rent is chasing. Recently, we had COVID, businesses had to close for a very long time, and landlords still wanted their money. So what do you do in that case? So many times businesses just give up and close. People go back to the village and businesses just die like that. So access to capital is one of the biggest challenges. And as Numida, this is one of the biggest problems we're trying to solve. And we believe this is one of the things that can help these small businesses thrive. And of course, as they thrive, we also see the contribution they're doing to our economy in general. So Numida helps small and medium businesses access unsecured working capital conveniently. You don't need any paperwork, you don't need collateral, no lengthy wait times. So traditionally, when anyone wanted money or financing, this is what they had to do. You had to look for your chairman, they give you a letter, you go to your parents, you take some piece of land, go to the bank, apply, wait for 2 weeks to get that money. But we are saying that most of the needs of the small businesses actually cannot wait for that time. If you have an order, you just had a client and they have ordered for it, they have pressed an order with you. You don't have all that luxury of waiting for all that time to actually get that money. You need it there and then. If the rent is due, you're not going to plead with the landlord and tell them to give you 2 weeks so that you go to the bank and actually get this money. And also, of course, like we know for a fact that most of these small businesses are actually owned by young people who have not yet accumulated enough assets that they can use as collateral. So what happens is they end up failing to get this money, so businesses fail, businesses close, and people, go back to the village. So what we are trying to do is to help these businesses access this kind of financing conveniently, without any hassle, without any tussle. So all you have to do is download the Numida app from Google Play Store. It's a very easy process. You just go on your phone, download the app, you sign up with your phone number, you fill out the application form, and then our staff will process your loan just in a few hours. So when you compare this process to how the traditional banks have been doing it, it's a little bit easier because in the bank, you have to take paperwork, they have to trust you, they have to see that you've actually been banking with them for some time. They have to, look at your credit score, all that stuff, which has been, kind of like segregating against small businesses. So for us, we're saying, look, you have a mobile phone, that is your powerhouse, and that is what you need to actually, access the capital that you need for your business. So all you need to get a Numida loan, you may ask. So one is to have a national ID, because yes, you have to be a valid citizen of the country. Secondly, a smartphone. Simple as that. Have a smartphone because our application is online. You don't need to come to our office. We don't need to come to your business. Everything is just done online. So just download the app and apply from your smartphone. Then mobile money number in your name because we disburse this money on your mobile money. So we want a registered mobile money number that is in your name since you're the one receiving this money. So as simple as that. So you can see how we are breaking it down for small business owners, how we are making it easy for these business owners. And at the end of the day, we hope that these business owners that are contributing 80% of our GDP will be able to become stronger, to become more sustainable, to grow, and also employ other people, of course. So in simple terms, that is Numida. And just for a fact, we have served over 55,000 small businesses in this country. Some of you might be hearing it for the first time. Thank you, thank you. So we've served over 55,000 small businesses across the country. So these are people who are trusting us to help them grow. These are people who are trusting us to help them, sustain their businesses. And if you're here and you also have a small business, feel free, just go on your mobile phone, download Numida, and apply. Everything is done online. You don't need to come to our office. You don't even need to know us. I might be the only Numida face you'll ever see in your life, but you will always get money for 100 years. Thank you.
Jeez, are you real people? I mean, no collateral, that's like a dream come true. So there better be some questions because I have questions.
I'm expecting those questions.
Oh, thank you so much, Numida. I like the way you're saying no paperwork, no collateral security. But when we go online, we see all this put, no paperwork, no what. But again, after applying, they demand for your ID. Are you not under the category? Then what about the interest rate? How much do you charge per withdraw? Or when the recipient receives the money, how much do you charge? Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. So you talked of national ID. So the reason why it is a prerequisite for us to ask for a national ID. So first of all, like I said, you don't come to our place, so it means we will never touch your national ID. It is yours. But we just request you to take a picture of that ID because we have to verify that you are the very individual who is applying for that loan, right? And of course, even just according to the general Ugandan regulations, you're lending to, if someone is a citizen of Uganda, they are the only ones who are in the confines of the law. So we have to verify that you're actually Ugandan. So that is why we ask for the picture of your national ID, but we shall never ask you to put your national ID on a border board and send it to our office, never. So that is one. Then I think you also asked about the interest rates. So our interest rates vary because we have, we built a strong algorithm that helps credit score different clients. So our interest rates usually depends on the credit score that you get, but it ranges from 10% to 16%, which is, if you compare to other lending, online lending apps, I would say it is quite below the market, interest rate. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Benjamin. My question is, do you only lend businesses that are starting up or anything else?
Yes, so we lend to businesses that have been operating for at least 6 months. Because, if you know Ugandan, sometimes, they just try out something for 1 month and they're like, you know what, never mind, they go back home. So we want actually people who are willing to invest in their businesses and work hard to build their businesses because like we've said, what we are trying to do is to help these businesses grow. We're not just trying to give people money to go and party. We're just trying to give these people money to build their businesses. So we only lend to businesses that have been in existence for 6 months plus. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Rodney, for those who didn't get it the first time. My question is, what's the maximum loan amount that you give out? 2, how about, because having no collateral, I know there is a maximum. What if I have small collateral? I want to put in my speaker, my laptop. Is it possible so that I can get more than someone who has not put in any collateral?
All right, very good question. So the first one, the maximum that we give out is, so we send this money via mobile money. So mobile money limits right now, it's I think around 7 million. But we also, if we have built a certain relationship with our clients, we also can go beyond that up to 20 million. So the maximum that we can give is 20 million, and the minimum that we lend is 200,000. On the issue of if you have some collateral or something. So our business model is digital. We don't want to kind of like go off that. So we do not take any collateral, because taking collateral itself is a burden. It means you have to, put in transport to come to our place. We have to invest in storage, facilities, because you're bringing your items. We have to protect them. So that is too much for us. For us, we don't do that. Everything is just collateral free, no security. Yeah.
You don't, sir. What's the grace period before you start paying? In case I'm trying to make my business better, so I need the grace period before I can start the payments for the company.
Yeah, thank you. So the grace period currently, since this is mostly working capital, is 1 month. But of course, like I said, it's no collateral, so it means we are trusting you with our money. So that's why we can't, for the start, give you like a lot of time. So you start with 1 month, but of course, as we build trust and you are paying well and we build that confidence in you, we can be able to advance you to 3 months and maybe after some time, like 6 months. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Where do people find you at the Innovation Week?
So we have a tent right outside there. Feel free to come by, say hi, ask more questions, and get to know more about Numida. Thank you very much.
If you have your national ID on you, you can already get a loan. So once you've got a loan for your business, right, and you are working, it only makes sense that you have a marketplace. So our next speaker, which is Tubayo, is here to tell you everything you can take after you get the loan from Numida and use ModuPay for all your payments as well.
Hello, everyone. All right, now time to talk about dreams and making them happen, yeah? I'll just wait on Rock. But as Rock puts it up, I'm called Namanya Brian, and I'm the founder and CEO at Tubayo. This is a journey that started in 2018. I was working at NASA Road. All of you know NASA Road? There's a NASA university as well. They issue everything you really need in terms of documents. So if any of these guys require documents. Anyhow, so it started from a frustration at NASA Road where I would work on clients and I'm paid only 20K at the end of the day. And these are products like business cards, receipt books, And looking at the guys I had gone to school with, I would see them advance a lot faster in life. To give you context, I went to Ntare School for my O-level, and then I did King's College Budo for my A-level. Then I joined Makerere for development economics. So seeing all these other guys join the top firms, access money to buy cars, I started to feel like there was something missing in my life. And one day, I think it was the grace of God, I was messing around the internet. I simply searched what the richest people in the world were doing. And the top 5 richest people were doing something about the internet and technology. Now I am someone who really thinks so simply. And my idea was, you do what the richest people are doing, you're going to be the other rich person. Because if I was doing what the other guys were doing, no wonder we're having the same results at NASA. Of course, today I've learned more, and I know you can also still build a big global business from NASA Road. So that's when I joined the internet business. Didn't know anything about funding. I just reached out to a tech guy who managed to join in. And from that hustle with the briefcase company, we managed to launch our product in 2019 with several hustles to prove customers. I remember when we launched our first trip, we put it up online to get bookings and no one could book. And it was almost like a shame or an embarrassment to us. We are promising people we're going to market their trips, but we can't even market our own trip. And we had to do this 3 times to get our first booking. But that first booking felt like we had gotten everyone in Kampala to book with us. We were super excited about it. And that's how we took off with our first customer. but we needed about 10 customers to make the trip. So we had to cancel on that customer. But for us, we had already won. We had already proved that someone has trusted us online and booked a trip we had promoted. So 2019, we applied to join the MasterCard Foundation, and that's how we get into the Innovation Village. We do an accelerator with them. Now I get to learn about business. I get to learn how complicated business is, but I get to appreciate it. You learn business models, you learn marketing strategies, you learn documenting. I get to learn so much that I had taken for granted, At NASA, all I knew was I do a service, I get paid, I keep mine, we walk off, And that's all we did every single day. So that's how we grew Tubayo from just one customer that didn't make it to the trip to even reaching, I think our peak in 2019 was reaching 300 customers in 1 week. And then we decided to build a technology platform that could automate that whole hustle of invoicing all these 300 customers. We launched our app in 2020, and since then we've won Startup of the Year in 2021, we won Startup of the Year in 2022, won Startup of the Year in 2023, and we've won with big organizations like UNDP, UNCDF, Startup Uganda, and so many others. So that shows you from just an idea of how can I change my life and build something with the internet, there could be so much that comes your way. So with that background, I'd love to introduce the Tubayo Marketplace and to go over why, as an entrepreneur, you don't need to go through all the hustle I had to go through to manage a business by simply getting onto a marketplace. So we have 3 objectives with this masterclass, and really one is to give you context of what marketplaces mean. So I'll take you through a history that I came up with, and then I'll shed more light on the Tubayo Marketplace, and then finally the future of commerce. So I feel like the first marketplace was done by individuals. Back then, if you needed to connect to a buyer, you had to talk to someone who was well connected. That person then became the medium of interaction to connect you to someone they know or to people that trust them. And in my thinking, I thought those could have been like the LC1 chairmans in the villages, the politicians. You went to them to sell your product or to connect you to people who are interested to buy. But later it evolved into a much more predictable stage, which is the shopping malls, the arcades. If you needed to access customers today, you simply just have to go, open up an office or a shop in a mall that attracts so many walk-ins. And now we are in a time where even that has evolved to online, because malls still are limited to how many people can access them, but online has no limitations. And there's a lot more benefit on the online marketplace. And to give you context in what these marketplaces look like and how much they transact, you can see the Americans have a major platform called Amazon, and that transacts over $500 billion. All the vendors on Amazon platform transact that much, and the entire e-commerce or marketplace transactions come up to $1.1 trillion. And Asia, of course, is in the lead with the big markets of China and India. But Alibaba is the biggest platform in Asia. And then in Europe, you have Amazon and eBay. And then Africa, you wonder who we have. But I think Tubayo will be the platform for Africa. And currently, Africa transacts about $33 billion. So, the Tubayo platform. We are Africa's digital marketplace for the world. We envision that the world market, the global market, will look at Tubayo to source products and travel around the continent by discovering wonderful vendors and different listings on our platform. So you can access the Tubayo platform on web and on a mobile app. That's both Play Store and iOS. And who are our customers? There are mainly 2 customers that we have. We have the travel customers. These are people who are booking our furnished homes and experiences. But we also have the Tubayo store customers that are purchasing products on our platform. And this is why they love the Tubayo marketplace. The convenience of booking online. Right now, you could order for a product on Tubayo, and there is a wide selection. There is no single arcade that can have a bigger selection than an online marketplace. So as a customer, this is such a big benefit to you. And the personalized shopping experience. You want your app to speak your language, to speak to you. And then there is a competitive pricing. This comes with so many vendors listing several products. So why should you decide on Tubayo? Tubayo is built for Africa. All these other platforms that I've mentioned are built for the big global markets. And so we have a local micro perspective. If you go to Amazon right now, you will not pay in UGX. If you use Airbnb right now, you will not pay in UGX. And yet you transact in Uganda currency. So Tubayo is built with Africa in mind. That local micro perspective helps us serve the Kenyan markets better. And there's this analogy that I believe if we go out in the market, it's more like a shark, more like a crocodile going out in the ocean to fight the sharks. They will swallow you. But if a crocodile really defends itself in the river, that means the shark will never be able to win it. And so we believe if we focus on these markets so well, it doesn't matter how big the Airbnbs and Amazons are, we'll always beat them. And the benefits of joining the Tubayo marketplace: first, you get the customers to trust because now you've associated with the brand. There is efficient business operations, all these things that they talk about running a business, paperwork, marketing, distribution, data. You don't have to do that. The marketplace does all of that for you. And several other benefits like the analytics. And then finally, you have a partner that cares for your success. Tubayo only earns when you earn. So every day we work really hard to make sure that the vendors on our platform can earn revenue. So this is the Tubayo app. This is how you could set up your store on our platform. I'm only going to highlight the stores, but you can also get into travel by clicking Start Hosting Today. That's if you have a furnished home that is not occupied, you could pull it up to start earning revenue. But I'll focus on the commerce side, which are the Tubayo stores. So you download the app, set up your business profile, and access a dashboard like that, right in the palm of your hands, your mobile phone. You will get to be able to see the sales. You get to see how many people view. All that data is tracked. Your customers are tracked. You see your orders down there. I'll give you an example. If you compare this to a mall, and I know so many of you walk into shops, but when you walk in and don't buy and walk out, that business will never know who visited that day. And I think for me, those people are now working backwards, because 5 years from now, they cannot tell how many people visited their store. But for the Tubayo stores, any visit is tracked. So you as a vendor have the right data at all times. Over a year, you'll notice you have over 2,000 people that you could even start sending marketing campaigns to or discounts. So tracking data, we believe that's the future foundation of building business. And so the journey to success, our experience building marketplaces and the events, we've noticed that attitude is one of the biggest players. And marketplaces are just like social media platforms. We all get a chance to join social media platforms, but not all of us gain as much influence. And this is really left to those who commit themselves and work hard. Yeah, so we believe if you join a marketplace, be about the business, work really hard at it, and you'll achieve success. Of course, there's going to be challenges. Like competition, you will list a boutique on Tubayo store, there will be another boutique, but that's the nature of the marketplace. We believe you should not really worry about competition if you choose to do the right thing and work hard on your business. There's a proverb I really like, and I share this a lot with the team. It's a proverb on talents. We all get different opportunities, but if you focus on the opportunity your friend has got, you're not going to manage the opportunity really well, so you end up losing it. However, if you focus on your opportunity and work hard at it, I can guarantee it will not be taken away. And that's why we see so many people start rival businesses and succeed, because they get to focus on those. So success stories of people who have built efficiently on marketplaces. We all know Kylie, the brand, the Kardashian. She's built $1 billion plus business by simply setting up and managing this business, I think like 2 people, 3 people. And then there is Anchor that does the speakers and chargers. These are $1 billion businesses that have set up on marketplaces. For Tubayo, we have so many people that have benefited from our initiatives. This is caramel oil that made their first $1,000,000 on our platform, but we have over 900 businesses that have set up online and thousands of businesses that have benefited from the Tubayo market days. What's the future like? The future is about AI. I got a chance to go to Silicon Valley, and I'll tell you, every single corner is AI. It blew my mind how guys were already jumping onto this trend. They were building products for AI. Today in Uganda, if you tell someone you're setting up a physical location, it doesn't make sense. You know, how much impact is the physical location going to have? If you're building online, then we listen. In the future, building online is not enough. AI is how you're going to build. You have to have an AI component. And what we think a way around that is you can't fight the future. Always lean towards the future. Marketplaces like ours are going to accommodate AI. Because of the data we collect, we study, analyze, personalize, and improve. Whereas the building malls cannot accommodate it. So if you're still doing malls, we'll see in 5 years. So yeah, lastly, make Tubayo yours. Join our team. We've been so fortunate that so many Ugandans have really loved us, shared our products, supported our initiatives. Today, Tubayo, starting with just me with the idea, has close to 50 people working there and hundreds of guys that just love Tubayo. So we are very grateful. Join our platform, download the app, share it with your friends, discover cool things you could do. At Tubayo, we believe life can't be just about solving problems, challenges, but also you need to be excited to look forward to like travel, fun activities. So get the Tubayo app. And lastly, I want to invite you all to our Tubayo Market Day that's happening next weekend. This is going to be the biggest Christmas holiday shopping event. We're expecting 10,000 walk-ins, so come and interact with people. The vendors, the passions in the room will be super excited to have you all. Thank you.
Awesome. Yep. Any questions, thoughts, comments? I'm going to make you do the work of walking closer to me. Anyone have any things? Yep. I'll just take 2.
Thank you. My question is, there are many marketing platforms. As you know, even social media does it, Instagram, Facebook, and of course it comes with charges. So my question is Tubayo cheaper comparing to those platforms?
Tubayo is practical. Let me share this. There's so many marketplaces happening around, but these years we've spent executing an online marketplace, they've exposed how sophisticated the infrastructure needs to be. You know, so some of these marketplaces that I won't mention take on such a huge role to fix payments, fix logistics, fix customer support, so many things. And I'll tell you today, if you ask me what are probably the leading marketplaces, I'll give you Facebook and Instagram. And what do? They simply connect you to the buyer. There's so much in transactions that's happening on those platforms. And so why don't we get a model that works and make it just about the businesses? Because the downsides I see on the social media platforms is there's just so much junk. You want to buy, but there is Lugambo, there is politics, there's everything. And we are making Tubayo to simply be about business. So all we are doing is connect you to the buyers. You won't get any stress on logistics, on payments. Do what you want to do. Connect with the buyers. That's why you have the customers, you have the views. Understand them. And then later with time as the ecosystem builds, we put payments, we put logistics. But we're very happy for those who are taking the bold move to do everything. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Yesterday we had the conversation about conversational artificial intelligence, which I'm willing to share with you. I just wanted to add that maybe you can take this on. If you look at Shopify, I've done sales of about $100,000 on Shopify, and the beauty about that is that they've partnered with different players in the ecosystem. If you want to optimize your store, for example, there are people in that space whom they've partnered with because they knew they couldn't do it themselves. If you wanted to increase, if you wanted to know how to increase the number of store views or store visits, there are people that do that. Maybe I was suggesting that you look at players in our ecosystem that have this capacity that you can partner with. The benefit is that for every purchase of those different software tools on your store, you get a cut, right? For every person that chooses that. Then also, when you look at, again, looking at Shopify, the web bit, there's options to do paid advertising, right? If you could integrate that with the different players in the space, Facebook, X, Google, and all that, I believe it would provide so much value for the different store owners, because then someone can easily log onto the web, run adverts, then use the different apps that you've integrated on your platform to be able to increase on their sales. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
There was a hand somewhere that I may have missed. There's a woman. And then not the usual suspect, so thank you.
Hi, Brian.
Hi.
Thank you so much for your presentation. My question is, how are you, as the Tubayo founder or the Tubayo team, how are you guys ensuring data safety for both the buyers and the sellers on the app? Because I know nowadays that is a big issue for especially the online marketplaces and other apps. For example, ChatGPT or any online platforms that include anyway, when you're logging in and you have to put in user information, how are you as Tuvayo ensuring data safety and security of your users? Thank you.
All right, thank you. I think that is really simple. So we benchmark off the global players. They have way more sophisticated standards than what our market is proposing for. So you find that just the Tuvayo platform being on Apple, make sure you comply to their data protection standards. So those partnerships, us working with platforms like those really is a win for customers. So if it comes to payments, the guys we've integrated with, they have way more resources, and so us integrating with those people would really guarantee safety of your data. And I don't think anyone is doing it better than Apple and Google. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Where do people find you? Unfortunately, I have to...
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, how do people find you?
Oh, yeah. So Tuvayo right now in Tinder, but you get online, you can download our platform. But also we are a San Francisco company. So soon we'll be disrupting the global market. But yeah, get online, download our platform. Our contacts are on our socials, Tuvayo Travel, on IG. My personal socials are Namanya Brian. That's LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. Would really be happy to connect with all of you. All right, thanks, and God bless you guys.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I think what Tuvayo is offering is really practical solutions, right? You're a business owner, you want a marketplace. So beyond the online platform, I really enjoy the Tuvayo Market Days. And it's a good place for you to go and see that it's not just the tech industry there. You're a juice owner, you make really nice pastries, or you do decor. You can just showcase there. And 10,000 traffic, that's a good number. You just hope that you have a product where at least, part of that 10,000 passes by your store. And you can prove his model by actually passing by their place. And finally, how many of you are employed? No? If you're not, I can create a role for you in my organization. But I guess all of you are business owners. How many of you are business owners? Yeah? Great. Aspiring business owners, you've just had the idea to dream and own a business. Huh? All right, so Zofikash is here to tell you what they have to offer. And I find it really brilliant. I'm hoping that I get rich enough to then start subscribing to what you're doing. Enjoy. You have 10 minutes because our lunch is starting to get out of the system, but we still want to have good conversation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, it's always interesting how when I hold the mic, it feels like I can be louder. But yeah, hey, I'll try to use this microphone and see how far we can go. How long do I have? Okay, thank you very much. So there's a lot that I have to tell you guys about. But I'll first of all appreciate Uganda Innovation Week for the opportunity to come and actually share about these amazing products. And looking around and seeing the amazing work that's going on. We were here for the masterclass in the morning and we saw the passionate innovators and everyone stretching and looking out to building Africa's next digital products. And it was such an amazing opportunity to interact with everyone. And now we'll be going to Zofi Cash. And the big question is, who are we as Zofi Cash? Because everyone looks at us and thinks there is a Mangu Cash, there is a Fair Credit, there is a what. So every time I'm talking to clients, the first question I get is, are you the guys? I'm like, which guys? They're like, there are guys who keep calling us, there are guys who keep calling everyone, they access people's contacts. And I'm here to clarify that you are not the guys. Who we are is, we are a business-to-business salary advance platform. So you know how you get paid, but within a week or two, your money is depleted, yet you have emergencies, some of which might not wait for payday. We are the guys that come in and advance you your salary and then reconcile with your employer at the end of the month. So that is why you see that... Oh, can't point? Okay, all right. So we're a digital financial platform that takes care of your employees' financial emergencies before payday. There are those that can wait, but those that cannot wait and can go below 30% of your net income. We're also regulated by UMRA, Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, which is the body that makes sure that there is fairness on both the person taking the money and the person giving the money and how we recover and everything regulation. I'm sure we've had topics around that. So we are fully regulated and compliant. And this is exactly the problem that I'm talking about. She has a sick child. She needs to go to work. It is the 15th of the month. The wallet is empty. So does she call a money lender? And some workplaces actually have money lenders internally. There's always that wise guy who can give you the money. He's like, hey, as long as you give me 30%, none you don't have an option. So instead of her getting stuck, the child is sick, or instead of her coming to work with a sick child and she's not focused and productive, why don't we introduce Zofi Cash? And before that, I'll tell you about these guys. The banks, the money lenders, and others who require collateral security, they're like, okay, your child is sick. Okay. If you need an overdraft, you need to fill this form and do this and do that. The money lender is like, bring your laptop. It is the same laptop that you need for your work. So what's the whole point? How will you make back the money? Or bring your fridge or your screen. So we don't require collateral. We don't require savings history. You know, if you guys have heard about Mocash, is it Mocash? Mocash. They require your savings history. You cannot go beyond a certain cap. They will see you transact maybe 1 million shillings in a given month, maybe 2 million. So we can afford to give you up to 50,000, up to 100,000. Yet your emergency might need more than just that. So we don't require savings history. Then the loss of paperwork, if you're doing a bank overdraft and the many days that you take to process. Also, this covers the many people who, the traditional way of giving salary advances, where you have to go to the HR, sign forms, get approval, first narrate all kinds of stories, some true, some false, so you can get your money. So we cancel that as well. And this going around in circles, we say no to this and introduce the Zofi Cash app, where in just 2 minutes, as an employee, you can access your salary advance. Yeah, in just 2 minutes. So the only catch that can delay you for longer than 2 minutes is if your HR needs to first check certain things to approve. The faster they approve, the faster you get the money. But for the app is able to disburse within just 2 minutes. And this is exactly how it works. It is available to all salaried workers with approval from employers. And I'll emphasize, when we give you the salary advance, we do not collect from you. We collect from your boss. So Mudupe, for example, if you have 10 workers and 8 of them have taken money, at the end of the month, we send you the collective invoice. You service the invoice and make deductions at source before paying. Interest rates are auto-generated in the app, and I'll talk about that a bit later in detail. Deductions are made from your salary by the employer, like I just mentioned, at the end of the month. And your pay day can vary anywhere between 26th and 31st. Some people pay on 26th, others 27th, and it just varies up to that whole end of that whole week. The vision ultimately is to break Africa's 30-day pay cycle. That's the ultimate vision, because if you go to developed countries in Europe or in the US, you do not have to wait for 30 days to get paid. Some clock out and get paid, others get paid every week, and most of them get paid every 2 weeks. That way you're able to sort of have control on your finances rather than piling up all the bills and all the debts and then having to wait to clear everything at the end of the month. And that will have made every day a payday for everyone on the African continent. And to download our app, we are both available on Google Play Store and the App Store for the iPhone Club. And we are very fast in terms of responses and customer service, and we actually have a toll-free line. You can see it down there, where you call and make all the inquiries that you need at no cost. And then we have the instant 24/7 access and the low interest rates that I'm going to discuss in detail. This is our process flow. We sign a memorandum of understanding with the employer. When they're downloading the app, you guys can actually download the app in case you need guidance. I'll be here longer after this presentation to take you through this step-by-step process. And now I'll walk you through the advantages, both on the employee's side and on the employer's side. So if you always find yourself in those emergency situations where you need 50, 100, 300, whatever, we are your plug. Because you don't have to always go to that money lender who charges you 30%. And I'll explain why. Access 24/7, whether your child is sick at 2 a.m. or you're stuck by the roadside. At 8 a.m. in the morning, we are all there to support. Then again, no collateral, no paperwork. We also hate it, and no hidden fees. If the interest rate is 3,000 or 100,000, that is it. That is what we actually charge you. And then for businesses, if you have been giving salary advances from your cash flow, that money might as well go to other operations and it makes more money. Because imagine if you have a team, for example, one of our clients, Rigo Paints, have a team of over 12,000 people. So if half of those, which is 6,000, were to take 100,000 each person, 6,000 times 100,000 would be around 60 million. So 60 million put back into the funnel and made to make more money would generate a lot more revenue instead of having to go out in salary advances. So we reserve your cash flow and let us float your salary advances. And then employee morale, motivation, and productivity, like I already mentioned. If this person comes to work, with a sick child, they will not be as productive. Or if they come home and the money lender is calling every 2 minutes, talking to them, they are not focused. Or if they took their laptop, then really they're actually not working at all. And then that's exactly the last point I talked about. Let us float your salary advances as an employer. Now, this is a very important slide. Everyone always has a question about this slide. And I want us to go together on this one. So the month has 4 weeks. And every money we give you comes back on your payday. So within the first week, if you take money between 1st and 7th, we charge you 12%. Meaning if you took 100,000, you'll pay us back how much? 12,000. Are we together? If you take money between 7th and 14th, which is the second week, you pay us 9%. So if you took 100,000, you pay us 9,000 in interest. If you take money between 14th and 21st, which is the third week, you pay us 6%, which is 6,000 if you took 100,000. And anywhere after 21st, up to when your payday is, remember your payday can be 24th, 26th, 8th, 31st, whatever, that is 3%. If you took 100,000, you pay back 3,000. I hope that is very clear, and in case of any questions, I'll be happy to answer. These are the competitive advantages, no collateral again, I'll emphasize. Low interest rates, like you've just witnessed. Instant access all day round, all year round. And we're 100% digital. You don't have to sign any forms anywhere. You just keep signing through the app and everything is digital. And zero paperwork, even for the MOUs that we get to sign, everything is signed digitally. And no hidden fees. If it is 3,000 in interest, that is it. There are no withdraw fees. I always see those memes about withdraw fees, and we're not those guys. That marks the end of my presentation. I hope I'm within my 10 minutes. And we are located at Tinda Complex. If you guys know where the village is, just above the village, that is our toll-free line and our website. For more information, you can always reach out to us. I think I'll take questions at this point.
Yeah. You've done well with your time.
Thank you. About the interest to be paid, what happens if on the payday you are not refunded? Are there fines? Who pays the fines? Is it the employer? Is it the...
I beg your pardon, what happens if on payday?
Okay, the interest is scheduled per week until 3%. Now, on payday, the payment hasn't come. Is there any penalty on that? And if it is there, who pays? Is it the employee or the employer? Thank you.
The employer. So when we are signing the MOU, we sign it with the employer, and we give them a grace period. Because you can, as an employer, you know how business works. You'll have a standard payday, maybe 26th, which is what we'll set in the app. But things can always go south in any given month. And we have open lines of communication. So you'll communicate to us, and we'll, in the MOU, depending on the type of client and our arrangement, we'll have agreed on the maximum number of grace period days that we can do together. Might range somewhere between 5 days and 7 days, which is a week. The upper limit is 10 days maximum. So the next week into 10th. So during that time, we expect that you're going to pay. If you're supposed to pay on 26th, by next month, at least 10th, you'll have paid. So we always have that conversation. We have very open lines of communication. And every single account that we have as Zofi Cash is managed by a client relations manager. And we always make sure there is that open line of communication. So you talk to them and have everything smooth and running.
Okay, my question is, I do like your business model, I like the app, but
Thank you.
I've been in the banking sector, and I was actually also working on salary loans in particular. But then my question is, regarding your business model, yeah, what happens when someone is, let's say they lose their job, since they've not given you insecurity, and let's say they do not have a provident fund at work. Yeah, and maybe they've just taken your loan.
Thank you very much. That's a very interesting question because, yeah. So there are many scenarios that can go wrong, but the extreme is summarily dismissal. Someone is dismissed summarily. That is something I just learned when I came to Zofikash. The human resource people have their language. So upon summarily dismissing someone, you compensate them with their terminal benefits, whatever. There is always arrangement. So in IMOU, it is captured that if you terminate someone like that, now you go, before you give them their benefits, you pay us off the benefits, and they'll have signed against that. But in normal cases where someone is resigning and they have served the 2-week notice or a notice for however long, you send the same notice to us as well, and we deactivate the employee. Also, there is a layer, the employer, who is the HR or head of finance in this case, will always have to approve every salary advance that comes out. So if you know you're going to send away someone, even if you haven't told them or they haven't sent you the notice, you actually don't approve. You can give whatever reasons you want to give. So there are many layers of approval that are in the system.
Sorry, my last question is,
yes.
How do you determine someone's affordability? As in, do you look at their salary to see the maximum amount that they can borrow from you?
Yes. So here's what we do. When we onboard an employer, we ask for access to their payroll. So when we say there is no security, we mean no collateral security. There is security in the employer. The employer's stability and the employer's ability to pay their employees. So we have a threshold. We have a due diligence team that's dedicated to checking that. But usually we have the size of company, the size of payroll that we work with. We don't work with any company that's just registered. We'll visit your premises and check all those details because we need to know from the company's payroll and how they've been paying in the last 6 months before we onboard them. And even after onboarding them, we give the company a cap. So the same way we give the employee a cap of 30% is the same way we give the company a cap. So we have onboarded, for example, the Innovation Village, who are actually our clients. We look at all those details, but also we say, if these guys are paying out 100 million every month, for the first month, we are not going to give them anywhere more than 30 million. And then as we see how they improve, so it is up to them to know that the cap has reached, we won't go beyond this, and inform their staff. And then when we see how they remit and make deductions and reimburse to us, we keep cranking it up.
Thank you so much. I think, Zofikash, how do people find you beyond this? Are you at the Innovation Week? Do you have a booth where they find you, or they can grab you in the corridor?
Well, all of those things and then some.
Wonderful. Yep. Great. Thank you so much. A round of applause, please.
Thank you.
All right. I think we've come to the end of using this space for today. I need you to clap for yourselves for being a very consistent crowd. Do better, yeah. You can clap for Startup Uganda that has, again, organized the Innovation Week, where I'm the vice chair, so don't go calling me the woman on stage. My name is Ramaki, and I hope you remember that Startup Uganda is a collection of partners that are working with entrepreneurs. And I hope that these can provide relevant connections for you in whatever you do. I hope the business clinics were relevant, because what does a clinic do? It diagnoses, show you opportunities. You may be a client or a partner, or you have a product that could benefit some of these companies. And I hope that we can really make use of these opportunities, because it would be such a shame that we only took notes and we did nothing about those notes. So our last conversation is happening in the breakaway room. It's a fire chat. Anyone was here for a fire chat yesterday? Yes, they also had alcohol. So you probably want to plug in and make sure that you get refreshments after a good conversation. So the traffic leaving this place is going to go through here, and you're going to pass through the exhibition halls, and you're going to end up in the lounge where some of our speakers will be, so you can interact with them as we kind of buy time for 5 when the next session will be starting. You have your, what is it called, the program on your tag, so I don't need to go over it again. But thank you very much. And if you have any questions for us, at Startup Uganda or any of the hubs, I represent Circular Design Hub, that I'm managing partner, but there's many other hubs as well, or you're curious on how we could be more relevant to you, please pick us on a side and let's have a quick conversation. Yes, so this way, exhibition space, this way, lounges with all the partners that you can speak to, including those that have been here, and at exactly 5, we'll be having the fire chat in the breakout room 1. Sounds great? All right, once that is done, then I'll see you tomorrow again for our finale. Thank you so, so much for being a wonderful crowd, and I hope we were relevant, because that's what we hope to be.